George here. Yeah, I watched a Netflix series recently called Warrior Nun, and it was amazing. It was very well written, and the story was a very good way of illustrating a Christian faith. Basically, it's each nun has their own backstory, and they are not perfect. They are still works in progress. But within their constraints and struggling through their issues and their struggles with sin, they continue to persevere and to obey God. The central character, which is the not yet nun, but soon to be nun perhaps, called Ava, is actually has a nice arc where she becomes, a somewhat self-centered character, enamored with the world, but eventually she becomes transforms into something that is not just about her. I love the contrast between the world, the nuns, and the world outside. There's this statement that one of the characters in the world outside says that it's not important to say who owns who. Just enjoy the view. Isn't that very much like how we are in this universe? We don't know. We don't care if God owns the universe. We just enjoy the view and behave as though it is ours. But then on the other hand, the world of the nuns is one of community, of family, of togetherness, of supporting each other in love. I also like the science part of it, the idea of trying to enter into the spiritual realm through some kind of a quantum portal, because in the Bible it does say that this reality is simply not really real. It's an illusion. That the real reality is the spiritual world. And the quantum physicists have discovered this, in that if you can get things, you can only get things so small, and after it gets so small, it just can't get any smaller, and time can only get so short, and once it gets a certain shortness, it can't be shorter any longer. It's as though the fabric of reality is digital. So it's an amazing it's an amazing thing they're trying to. Of course, I don't think a quantum portal is actually possible scientifically. And if it was, it wouldn't be a way to get to heaven, because the only way you can get to heaven is through Jesus the Christ. But it could be a way to open a portal between this world and hell. I don't know. It's so the science is definitely interesting, and the action is wonderful, very quippy, and it's nice to have a Christian movie that is not so preachy and not so much giving a lot of exposition about the Christian faith, as though the Christian faith is a logical process. It shows that the nuns show that they love God, but they express it in their own individual way as they struggle through their individuality and their own personal issues. So it's a very refreshing look at how to illustrate Christianity through film. Of course, there's lots of allegory. Nuns are actually warriors, right? I mean, they are spiritual warriors. The rosary is supposed to symbolize our weapon. It's like our sword, and they carry it, around on their belt on their left side, because that's where traditionally the sword was carried. Because it is through the praying of the rosary that the spiritual forces are engaged against the evil forces of darkness. Something to bear in mind. You should pray the rosary every day. It's like Our Lady of Fatima asked us to, right? And definitely we should also be enrolled in the brown scapular and to wear it. That is the army. We are, that we are in a spiritual battle, especially in these times. And in the movie Warrior Nun, it expresses this. Of course, the warrior nuns go through some kind of, different kinds of fighting techniques with their own specialized weapons. But it's really a metaphor or an allegory about the spiritual battle that the true people who are in nuns and monks and priests and the laity are engaged in the spiritual battle against the forces of darkness through prayer, in particular the Holy Rosary. Oh, I could go on and on really about all the different aspects of it, about the twists and turns, about how I won't spoil it. But one thing is that when you see evil, how evil appears to be good, but it's not, and how in the end one can discern evil by whether it believes in God and the righteousness of God, right? Doesn't try to make morality complex. So obey God. He owns the universe. So he's Lord of all. And how nice to see such concepts expressed through a series in a very subtle way and not at your face. And there are a lot of little tiny things that you can discern, little funny things, which I'll leave you to discover for yourself if you appreciate allegory. There's a lot of allegorical situations there which describes the Christian life. And remember, it is also a work of fiction, right? But it's such a good way of illustrating Christian faith. How Christians are not perfect and are struggling through their issues, yet despite that, through faith they persevere and grow closer to God in their own individual ways. Some would be like you, some are not. It's encouraging because it shows that each of us can approach God not in the same way all the time, but through our own experiences and through our own lives, grow closer to Him. Right? Sometimes you may feel that people are going closer to God in the wrong way, but God continuously draws them in, and ultimately they will find God, the true God, the God of the Bible, the God of the Roman Catholic Church. All roads lead to Rome. All right. Hey, hope you're all doing well. Hang in there. Don't be too worried about this pandemic statistics. It's just that's what exponential increase is. Keep your immune system healthy. Take some vitamin D, vitamin supplementation, and don't stress out too much. And pray, especially, that this pandemic ends. And but even if it does not, that the whole experience grows people closer to God. Okay, this is George signing off. Bye-bye for now.